Alright, so before we get too involved with the fishing, I kind of wanted to show you guys what I'm working with here. This is a different rod than what I was using in the last video, and this rod is made by True Temper. It was made by True Temper specifically for JCPenney stores, and this is a Martin Classic UL MC56. So this was my grandfather's fishing rod and reel, and as a young boy I can remember this rod hanging on the wall of his storage building with all of his other fishing rods, and that I can remember he never used it in the time that I did things with him outdoors. So when I got this rod a couple weeks ago, it had the original backing and the original fly line on it. The cork was a little bit dry and the rod needed some cleaning, so I cleaned everything real well. I made sure the eyes were threaded properly and still sewn on like they should be. There was a little bit of an issue here where the rods connect, so I cleaned that up. Now they connect fine. I went ahead and put my own backing, my own fly line on it. I like pink, so we went with a pink fly line. The rod is a 6 weight and the reel is a 5/6, so I went with a 6 weight fly line, and then I'm running a 6 weight tippet, or a 6 weight leader, and then I've got a tippet tied on 6 weight below that with a elk hair caddis dry, and then some sort of nymph down below. And as you can see, it's pouring rain now. So one thing about this rod is it is a left hand cast, right hand reel, and I'm opposite of that. I'm a right hand cast, left hand reel, even though I'm left handed. So it's going to be interesting to see if I can get it to work for what I want it, for what I want to use it for. I do not plan to use this long term. My goal is to catch a couple fish on it, just kind of in honor of my grandfather, and then retire it to my podcasting wall. So if I can make it happen in the next couple videos, you'll eventually see this in my podcast videos hanging on the wall. So we're gonna see what we can make happen here. All right, so I didn't even feel this fish bite, but it is a fish nonetheless. All right, little guy. Not sure exactly, maybe a little creek chub, but I caught a fish nonetheless. I caught that one little fish there, and so pretty excited about that. At least I'm not walking out of here on a skunk like I did in the last video. Don't know what the fish was, couldn't really tell. I haven't done it enough to be able to just look at them and easily identify them unless they're a lot bigger. It could have been a wild young of the year maybe, but it could have also just been a small creek chub. Either way, it was a fish. I caught it on a fly with a fly rod, so I'm pretty pumped about that. And I did get one more solid bite, but I was messing around with the fly line trying to get it untangled from the reel. Made a bunch of more casts there, didn't catch anything, but there is all kinds of little plunge pools down through here, and I'm just gonna hit all of them down through here and see what I can come up with. Where I'm at, I am in the Cohutta WMA, Cohutta Mountains. It's kind of broken up into two sections. You got the Cohutta WMA, and then you got the Cohutta Wilderness. I am currently still on the WMA side of the mountain, so it's not really a secret. It's a pretty popular place, as you can see. I don't know how many people actually fish it. I think a lot of people come for the waterfall that I showed you guys earlier, and it is near a very popular campground. So if you're familiar with the area, you can probably put a couple things together and figure out exactly where I'm at. And one of the things I've learned through other various videos of guys fishing in southern Appalachia is wherever there's feeder creeks, a lot of times there'll be fish below it. That's probably a natural spring feeding that. So this water is going to be cooler here. So I may try to pop in a couple flies right in this area right here and see what happens. Well, this is pretty cool. It's pretty dry in there, so I'll utilize that for a minute to stay dry. I just wish if they're gonna come and do this kind of stuff, I don't really care about the shelter. I've built my own shelters before, but they should at least pick up their trash. And they did an okay job. They could have layered more stuff on it, but yeah, it is what it is. Let's get in the dry for a minute. All right. Yeah, it's nice and dry in here. And of course, it's beer. But riverfront property. Alright, so we came down to this beautiful area, and I've been picking up trash and stuff along the way, you guys have seen, but this, I got a pretty big problem with this. So there's plastic there, but that is a IV clip, that is an IV package, glove, needle cap. I'm sure if I dig around in there I can find needles. I'm not cool with that. I'm not picking that up. Decided to come on down the river a ways. I was able to skirt along the rocks here. Looks like the trail, kind of some sort of trail, but that's a mayfly. So mayflies are starting to pop off here in North Georgia. So I definitely need to pick up some like number 12 mayflies or something. I believe that would work pretty good. You never know what you're gonna find. And whatever that is down there drops way off. Like, look at the elevation. So I'm gonna make my way down, but I gotta be careful because it's super slick. I think this has turned into more of an exploration video than a fishing video, but here we are. It's a good size. I don't think it's vertical. Looks like probably from there to right there where it's rooster towing is a slide, but then it may drop off vertical after that. I can sort of see the bottom down there. So that's including the first waterfall I went to at the beginning of the video. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 in succession right here along this drainage. We're gonna see if we can make our way on around. I don't know if we can go down or not, but the Kohuttas are just absolutely gnarly. Look at that thing. Make it clear for the video's sake, this is not an undiscovered waterfall. People have obviously been here quite a bit. I just had to crawl down that drainage, and in order to get down they have ropes tied to the trees. Still a shit show, but I got down. There's ropes in the trees for people to swim off in here, so I'd say it's a pretty popular waterfall, although I've never heard anyone talk about this one or seen this one posted anywhere. So it may not be that known other than just by the locals. And it does take a little bit of work to get to it. I mean, it's not like you just get out of the car and walk, you know, 20 or 30 feet and then you're there. All right, so the GoPro died, and I do have a battery in my bag, another battery. I'll get to it eventually, but right now we're gonna continue on down the side of the creek here and see what else this drainage has to offer. I can see a visible horizon line in front of us, so I know it's gonna drop again. I did pull out my Garmin and check. The topo lines here basically are dropping 100 feet of elevation every line. So I already knew that the Kohuttas are steep, so it shouldn't be a surprise, but it's just kind of one of those things where when you're in an area that you've never been and you find something this cool, you get pretty excited about it. So I'm pretty pumped. Caught a fish on the fly rod, found some awesome waterfalls. You can see up there behind me. And we're just gonna continue down and see what else it has to offer. That's about as close as I'm gonna get. I don't want to risk. That could be a fatal fall. Just downstream from the big guy right up there. And it looks like it does continue to drop more further down, but I think this is kind of probably my insert here. All right, so we're back up here at the waterfall, and I just, I'm by myself. I have my inReach, but it's not an end-all be-all. You should still make smart decisions when you're out in the wilderness by yourself. So I chose not to go kind of scamper across those rocks, and I'll come back on another day when it's dry and venture further downstream, or maybe I'll park down and adventure up. But this is a pretty good pool here, so I figured what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my rod and I'm gonna make some practice casts in here to just get some casting practice in, and who knows, maybe I'll let into something in there. As you've seen, I fished for like probably 20 minutes. I think like the second cast in, I had a pretty good bite, but I don't know if it was a bite or if I was up in the foam pile there. Either way, it felt like a bite. And then, as you've seen, the sun came up, and I didn't bring my sunglasses, so couldn't really see in the water that well. But when the sun came up, I could see in the water, and there were fish in there, probably about the size of the one I caught earlier, maybe a little bigger, chasing the nymph. And I just don't think that is either still too big or they just weren't getting a good bite on it, because I could see them run up and then turn. So just want to, and I've said this before, and I'm gonna say it now, and I'll probably say it again on the next Cohutta video that I do. The Cohutta Mountains are the most beautiful areas that I've been in the state of Georgia, and I've been all over North Georgia and quite a bit in South Georgia. The beauty here is pretty unmatched, but the problem with Cohutta is it's very relentless, very unforgiving terrain, very rugged. If you come out here and you do more than just a mile or so off one of these trails, you really need to have quite a bit of backpacking or backcountry experience. There's not really any service out here, so some sort of personal locator beacon is good. You know, like on this trail I was on today, you could obviously tell that it's a pretty traffic trail, and there's nobody here today, but you know, I'm sure earlier this week or last week when it was warm, and probably coming up in the next couple weeks when it's warm, that you'll come down here and there'll be people down here in just their swimming trunks with no gear or no backpack, no extra water, none of that stuff. And you know, people do that, and I see it a lot, and they get away with it, and they get away with it, and they get away with it. But then there's the one time that they don't get away with it and somebody gets severely hurt. If you decide to come out here and you know, you want to explore, by all means do. Get out in nature, explore, have fun, but please, please be very, very cautious and keep your head on a swivel. Watch what you're doing out here. In case anyone in the area wants to come stay at Lake Conasauga, this is new. I don't know when they started that. But this is Mill Creek Overlook. Overlooking the valley, drainages and stuff that I was just in, somewhere off down in there. If you look straight across through there, you can see the rain column right in there. Everything's starting to green up. I should have stayed over there on that and recorded this storm blowing in. All those mountains you can see, you can barely see now. I just didn't want to get completely soaked again. I've stopped at this waterfall many times. This is Barnes Creek Falls. One thing I didn't know that I just learned, they put in a new picnic table there and there. Last time I was here, they were all beat up. Now they're metal. They put a new sign in. All this used to be a rock quarry, apparently. In the 1930s, they would come and dynamite this rock out and use it for other projects in the area. And I've always kind of wondered what this little foundation was. According to that sign, this used to be a little small building called a dynamite hut, and they would store the dynamite all throughout the national forest in these little buildings to keep it from getting wet. So the sign also says that this stone here, and I guess some kind of retaining wall at the top, is from this area right here by the waterfall. Pretty neat. This must be the retaining wall we're talking about. Looks like maybe they just built a little area there so not too many people would crowd up here and could wait here for your turn. All right, this is pretty much the last stop of the day. Once I leave from here, I'll drop off. As you can see over there, we're pretty high up still, but I'll drop off the mountain here, and then it's a little short drive back into LJ, and that'll wrap it up, because maybe 4 or 5 more miles of gravel, that's about it. Not really anything to see between here and there. But today was definitely a 10 out of 10 day for me. Got to do a little bit of all of my favorite things: hike, bushwhack, explore, fish. Fly fishing is quickly becoming one of my favorite things. Haven't gotten the bug real bad yet. I think I need to catch a couple decent sized fish, and then I'll be hooked for sure. But it's definitely fun, you know, coming in, finding these little creeks and these drainages and hiking up to try to catch fish. I don't know why I never thought of doing that before, to see new places, but it definitely has sent me to a couple new places the last couple videos. So you guys, thanks for following along. Thanks for all the subscribers. By the way, after 2 years or 2.5 years of doing YouTube, I finally broke 100 subscribers. So thank you everybody who subscribed. Thank you guys who comment. I actually learned some casting techniques from a guy who commented and said, hey, go watch this video. I went and watched it. Did a little better with my casting today, so thanks for all the comments, likes. If you're sharing it, thanks for the shares. And I will be back with another video shortly. Catch you guys on the next one.